I'm Shavi and I am your Integrative Nutrition Health Coach. This video, we have to talk about paperwork. Paperwork. Oh my goodness. So, during my time as a recruiter, one of the biggest problems that a lot of the applicants had making it to the board was paperwork. Many of them missed their opportunity all based on paperwork. It could have been an applicant stated that it had TB, tuberculosis, right? If you're coming from a different country, chances are you're going to probably test positive and you have to have medical documentations clearing you and saying that you're all good. Many people don't have that in their record. So that's a big hold up, and it actually stopped that person from getting to the board. The list goes on. When it boils down to it, it's all about paperwork. Rather you are applying to become a PA, wanting a commission in the United States Army, applying for a house, whatever you can think of, chances are you're going to need your paperwork in order. And surprisingly enough, it's the same paperwork that you need for all of those things, right? So when you're dealing with a job, academics, anything like that, you're going to have your transcripts. So the best advice that I can give is to start to create something what we call in the Army the Love Me book. Your I Love Me book is pretty much all your paperwork put together. I like to organize it, all of my transcripts, any of my certificates. You can get 3-ring binders, and that would work. But in this video, let's just focus on resume and CV. Many people like, whoa, Shavi, what's the difference between a resume and a CV? Simple. The resume is just like a sheet of paper. It just runs down. I'm giving you the simplest way that I can explain it, okay? This is not the dictionary definition. It's just an easy way for me to explain it to you. Okay, so the resume will be pretty much everything that you do, your work history, dates, and all of that other stuff. So think of it like that. Your references, all of that would be on that paper. Now the CV is with your supporting documents. So you have your resume and your CV. So if you went to college at ABC University and you put that on your resume, then in the CV is going to contain the actual transcript, okay? So if you went to ABC University the 1st and the 2nd of 2016, it needs to say 1st and the 2nd, 2016 on the actual transcript. So everything has to line up. It has to match, okay? So you're going to go through and just start writing it all out. Now, that is a headache within itself because who can remember that far? Life happens and you can sell yourself short if you're trying to remember all of this off of the top of your head and it's like, dang, I want this job. What did I do? Because you haven't, did a transcript, you didn't build a CV, and you got to start from scratch, and it's overwhelming, and you feel defeated before you even can get out the gate. The best advice, and it's going to take a while, but it's better to do it now versus when you're trying to get a job and you don't want people waiting on you, okay? So get a journal, call it your career journal, and just sit down and write out your duty responsibilities. If you got a new job, put that in your journal, the start date, any important trainings that you have while at that job, because a lot of people don't capture that, and you are awesome. You did a lot of awesome work at that job, but unfortunately at the time of trying to apply, can't remember all that. You can't remember how awesome you are at a drop of a dime. And plus, we're humble, right? Most of us. We can't remember all of that. So just get a journal and say, okay, on this date, this is when I started, this is what I did. And if you start a new job, then continue that process forward. And then when it's time for you to write a, official pretty resume, then you can just refer back to that journal. Me, on the other hand, I move around so much, I tend to lose my journals. I am a fan of Google. I'm a Google person. If you work with me, then you know that everything that I'm doing is powered by Google. Google Hangouts, Google Classroom, Google Pay. I mean, everything is Google because a lot of systems, it's easy to integrate that into it. I'm just a Google person. So you can get it on your Google Drive, create yourself a form, get your little notebook of QR codes where you can just scan it in, update it when you're at the grocery store. I mean, whatever, you can update it right then, and it just keeps like a running log. So when it comes time for you to sit down, it's like, okay, I feel good. It might take me maybe a week. It might take me 2 days. It just depends on how well put you are, like how organized you are. Okay, now if you work with me and you have access to the Google Classroom, this is something that we're going to be going over under the career components, dealing with integrative nutrition, and we have to make sure we're healthy in that area. So if you're working with me, we're going to work on that through the Google Classroom, and you can upload your stuff, and that gives me time to critique it and give you some recommendations and maybe even help you with the description. Most of that stuff is Googleable. Like if you were a cashier, what is the primary duties of a cashier? Google it. Put it on there. Move on with your life. Right? That's pretty much what it is. That's if you didn't have like that journal. A lot of this stuff's just going to be Google. And put it in your notebook. So, just to recap, the resume is like the sheet. It's the paper, right? You want to keep it, you don't want to have a whole book, right? But put all your stuff on that resume. And then the CV is your supporting documents. Make sure you have all that stuff organized in a binder or some type of organizational system that you've created for yourself.